Most people think they're just tired, that they need more discipline, more motivation, maybe even more coffee. But the real problem is something else. Your brain has been quietly rewired, not by some dramatic event, but by thousands of tiny interruptions, notifications, short videos, endless scrolling, day after day. Your brain adapted to this environment. And now something strange happens. You sit down to focus, and your mind immediately looks for something else. Not because you're lazy, but because your brain was trained to be distracted. Not long ago, your brain worked very differently. Focus was normal, silence was normal. Even boredom had a purpose. If you wanted to learn something, you sat down and gave it your attention. There were fewer interruptions, fewer alerts, fewer invisible forces competing for your mind. But slowly something changed. Technology didn't just make life faster, it made distraction constant. Every app began fighting for the same thing, your attention. Not because they hated you, but because attention became the most valuable resource on the internet. And the longer you stayed, the more money they made. So the systems got smarter. Algorithms learned what triggers curiosity, what keeps you scrolling, what makes you come back, not once, but dozens of times a day. And while this was happening, your brain started adapting, just like it always does. The brain is incredibly flexible. It rewires itself based on the environment you live in, which means something subtle began to happen. The more fragmented your attention became, the harder deep focus started to feel. Not because you lost discipline, but because your brain was slowly learning a new pattern, a pattern of constant stimulation. The problem isn't just distraction, it's overstimulation. Your brain today is exposed to more information in a single day than people experienced decades ago. Every minute, your attention is pulled in a different direction. A message arrives, a notification appears, a new video starts playing automatically. Even when you're not actively looking for stimulation, it finds you. Your phone vibrates, your screen lights up. Something new demands your attention. And at first it doesn't feel like a problem. It feels normal, because everyone around you is living the same way. Constant updates, constant scrolling, constant noise. But your brain was never designed for this environment. It evolved for a world that moved slowly. A world where silence existed, where focus wasn't interrupted every few seconds. Now the brain is constantly switching tasks, and every time it switches, it loses a little bit of depth, a little bit of clarity, until eventually something strange happens. You sit down to work, and your mind starts searching for stimulation, almost automatically. But something else is happening beneath the surface, something most people never notice. Your brain runs on a reward system, a system designed to motivate you to explore, learn, and survive. At the center of that system is a powerful chemical, dopamine. Dopamine is often called the pleasure chemical, but that's not entirely accurate. Dopamine is actually the chemical of anticipation. It's what makes your brain crave the next reward, the next discovery, the next piece of information, and technology learned how to use that system perfectly. Every notification, every short video, every new post in your feed creates a tiny moment of anticipation. Your brain starts expecting the next reward, so you scroll again, and again, and again. The reward might be small, a funny video, an interesting comment, a surprising piece of news, but the brain doesn't care how big the reward is. What matters is the possibility of reward, and that possibility keeps the loop going. This is why 5 minutes on your phone can suddenly turn into 30. Your brain isn't broken. It's simply responding to a system designed to capture attention. And over time, this constant cycle of quick rewards changes something important: your tolerance for slow rewards. Things that once felt natural, like reading, studying, or deep thinking, begin to feel strangely difficult, not because they lost value, but because your brain has learned to expect constant stimulation. And this is where many people start blaming themselves. They think something is wrong with their discipline, that they just need more willpower, more motivation, more self-control. But the real issue is much deeper than that. Your brain has adapted to an environment of constant stimulation, fast rewards, instant feedback, endless novelty. And compared to that, most meaningful activities feel slow. Reading a book, studying a complex subject, working on a long project. These things don't deliver immediate rewards. They require patience, they require sustained attention. But when your brain becomes used to quick stimulation, slow focus begins to feel uncomfortable, almost painful. After just a few minutes of concentration, your mind starts searching for something else, something faster, something easier. A notification, a new message, a quick video, not because you're weak, but because your brain has learned a new habit, the habit of constant stimulation. And habits are powerful. The more they repeat, the stronger they become, until eventually your brain starts expecting distraction, even when nothing is interrupting you. And this is where another problem quietly appears: the illusion of productivity. Today, it's very easy to feel busy all the time. You answer messages, you check notifications, you open new tabs, you watch short videos, you switch between tasks. Your brain stays active all day. But activity is not the same as progress. In fact, constant switching between tasks does something harmful to your focus. Every time your attention moves from one thing to another, your brain needs time to readjust, to rebuild concentration, to reconnect with the task. But if interruptions keep happening, that depth never fully returns. You remain on the surface, jumping from one thing to the next. It feels productive. It feels like you're doing many things. But real progress usually happens in a very different way, slowly, quietly, with long periods of uninterrupted attention. And that kind of focus has become increasingly rare. Not because people stopped caring, but because the environment around us constantly pulls attention away. There is another consequence of constant stimulation, something we rarely think about anymore: boredom. Not long ago, boredom was a normal part of life. Waiting in line, sitting on a bus, walking alone. Moments where nothing was happening. And during those quiet moments, your brain would wander. It would reflect. It would make connections between ideas. In fact, many of the most creative thoughts people have appear during moments of boredom. But today, boredom almost never happens. The moment silence appears, the phone comes out. A quick scroll, a short video, a message check, something to fill the gap. And when the brain loses those quiet moments, something important disappears with them. Mental recovery. Focus needs space. Attention needs stillness. But when the mind is constantly stimulated, it never truly resets. And over time, even a few minutes of silence can start to feel uncomfortable. So if you feel like your focus has disappeared, if your mind keeps searching for stimulation, if silence feels uncomfortable, it might not be because you lack discipline. It might simply be because your brain has adapted to a world that never stops talking. A world designed to capture attention, to hold it, and to keep asking for more. But the ability to focus deeply has not disappeared. It only became buried under constant noise. And the moment you begin creating small spaces of silence again, something interesting starts to happen. Your mind slows down, your thoughts become clearer, and the attention that once felt impossible slowly returns. Not instantly, but gradually, because focus was never something you lost forever. It is simply something the modern world keeps trying to interrupt.